Hello, hello, hello. Bum, bum. Good morning. Actually, good afternoon. Actually, still good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. KL Belvin here. And I wanted to discuss, let me see, my camera looks a little dirty here. Oh, I made it worse. There we go. So, I was watching some scopes this morning. First of all, good morning. Hello, everyone. I'm KL Belvin. And I was watching some scopes this morning because there's a few people that I follow who I'm looking to learn from, as well as, always looking to network when possible. And it got me to thinking about growth. Thank you so much for the hearts. Appreciate it. When we're acquiring knowledge, no matter how we get it, whether we set out to get it, whether we learn by mistake, however we're going about gaining knowledge, there should be some type of growth that comes from that knowledge. Now, those of you that are new to my scope, I am an educator, 20-year educator here in New York City. I am an author. I am a poet, mentor, speaker, father, husband, and man of God. So I am always looking to learn, because the more I learn, the more it helps me in the avenues that I travel. I have returned to grad school a couple of months now, working on my second master's degree, because I am transitioning from being an educator to becoming a counselor. So I wanted to have the formal education in place. Thank you again for the hearts. So what I realized, when a person is acquiring knowledge, there should be some type of growth. But with this growth comes a period, an uncomfortable period, maybe even pain. You can't stay in the same place as your knowledge grows. And I don't care if it's work, your relationship, whatever. As your knowledge grows, you cannot remain in the same place. And that pain that may comes from the possibility of separation. Hey, do you vote for Trump? The election's not until November. So I'm not going to discuss who I'm voting for. That's not what we're discussing today. So as this growth happens, you really have to consider that some of the discomfort that you're feeling is because you want to hold on to what you're comfortable with. But you now have a new understanding of things. You have to learn that that pain is part of the growth, and you have to let it go. And if you have to let certain things go, excuse me, or let certain people go to become whatever you're going to become, you have to do it. Because greatness can't happen in a vacuum. To become great at anything cannot happen in a vacuum. You cannot be great or become great staying in the situation and place that you're in. So when you amass knowledge, Brother Bellinger, great to see you, brother. When you amass knowledge, you are growing. With that growth, you have to say goodbye to certain people. You can't stay in certain places once you've acquired the knowledge of certain things. They say ignorance is bliss. There's truth to that. When you don't know, okay, listen, you hang out, you do whatever. Once you do know. Now, I'm speaking about relationships, business, I don't care what it is. If at your job you realize, you gain the knowledge that your position pays 10 times more, are you going to stay? No. Even if you were comfortable and love the people that you work with, you're not going to stay if you know you can make more money somewhere else. If you're in a relationship and gain knowledge that helps you grow, but the partner that you're with doesn't want to grow, after a while, how long can you stay stagnant? You're going to be in pain either way. Pain because you're with somebody that's just not fulfilling you. Pain because if you leave them, you might be alone. Okay, you're going to have to make a choice, but you got to do something. Pain is going to be there. With any growth, there's pain. But what you have to understand is that as you pursue, thank you so much, appreciate it, thank you. As you pursue happiness, it'll ease that pain. And as you settle into your understanding of the new acquired knowledge, it'll ease some of that pain. but you cannot stay stagnant. You cannot stay in one place and be so comfortable that you don't want to do anything else because you're fearful of whatever pain. Do you advise me on being a Christian? Well, I can't advise you on being a Christian. I can tell you why it's an option. You have to make that decision for yourself. The Christian faith is a personal walk. So would I advise you to make that decision? I can tell you that it's worked for me, but I don't know if it's going to work for you. I don't know where your mind and your heart and your spirit's at. So that's a decision you have to make. If you want some advice on it, well, if you want to be a Christian, I'll tell you what, reach out to me at main office at bravenpublishing.com. That's my email, and we can talk about it. And you really have to, now back to the subject at hand, again, thank you for the hearts, is you have to know, because I was sitting today and I said, you know what, there's some things I need to change in my business. There's some directions that I need to go in, because as my knowledge is growing about why I want to go in those directions, I'm realizing there's a lot of things I'm going to have to cut loose, which means there's going to be some people disappointed in me moving away from them. But I want to show y'all something. And this is what got me thinking this morning too. I posted this on Instagram today. Okay, what you're looking at here is, let me get my mouse in place. What you're looking at here is just a little bit of some of the promotional stuff. This in the corner here is a flyer that my wife and I did when we were doing a speaking at the Black Expo in Delaware a couple years back. This is a client's book that we worked on. This is the cover to my new book. These are two different clients' books that I'm working on right now. This was the flyer from yesterday's radio show, the interview that my wife and I did yesterday. This is part of my media kit here in the lower left-hand corner. And these two here are two of my books that are being featured at the Chicago Soulful Book Fair. So I'll be in Chicago in July. But all of this here is part of my growth. All of this here is connected to Braven Publishing, the company that I own, part of being an author, part of being a business owner, as well as, so I'm helping others and I'm doing things for myself. But what I realized, to do the things that I needed to do for me, I had to let a lot of people go. And people that I was doing business with, I had to let them go, because if they weren't going to try to move at the speed that I was moving, you have to. Oh no, complaining never gains you anything. That time spent complaining could be learned on how you're going to escape your situation. I tell folks all the time, there's nothing in complaining. Complaining is a waste of time, because it's time that you could spend researching what you could do to make you happy, than sitting around constantly talking about what you're unhappy about. So like I was saying, is when I started looking at what we've done, I created the company in 2010. So it's been 6 years. I am happy with the growth in 6 years. I'm happy with the number of books that we've done. I'm happy with the number of clients that we've worked with. But in the last couple of weeks, I have come to learn that there's more that I could do for my clients, more that I could do for myself, more that I want. And in trying to get to where I want, there's some things I'm going to have to let go. And in letting those things go, there's going to be some people that's uncomfortable and possibly unhappy. So there's going to be some pain there. Sadly, with new knowledge, moves have to be made. I can't stay stagnant at the same level that I was at. And if some people are not, at that place, then it is what it is. I'm sorry, I had to laugh. Sometimes the trolls make me laugh. I apologize. Let me get back to what I'm saying here. Anyway. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know some people get really offended by trolls. I get a kick out of it. I'm sorry. It reminds me of school where like a kid just yell out in the middle of a lesson. Ah, what's wrong with you? Anyway, I apologize. Back to the game. Anyway, but no, seriously. I realized that to get to the levels that I'm trying to get to, I can't take people with me. I can work with you, but not if it's going to drag me back from where I'm trying to go. So at some point, hopefully a positive split is necessary. Now, in relationships, it's the same thing. If you're growing and your significant other doesn't want to, can't see it, and is just refusing to see the potential in the growth, you're going to have to make a painful decision. Is this really the partner for you? Is this really the person that I should have been with to begin with? Because movements have to be made, positive movements. And even when you make those positive movements, there might be setbacks. So you need to be focused on how you're going to do it. And unfortunately, if you have people in your camp who's connected to you that can't see it, it's time to let them go. And yes, it's going to be painful. Nobody wants to be cut out of things. But sometimes it's necessary. This company has done well. Braven Publishing, my company, has done well. We did more than I could have ever thought. Originally, I put this company in place just to put my own books out. And then in my travels and talking to other authors, I realized that they needed the services that I was providing myself. So I extended it to work with other authors. And that is one of the reasons why I showed you this picture this morning, is because you see, I offer authors, let's move this up. I offer authors the same thing I offer myself. So their covers are vibrant. My covers are vibrant. I'm not going to shortchange you. And this is actually my cover up here. These are two different covers, and these two covers are done by two different designers. So I have one designer, Gregory Graphics, out of Philly for my cover, and then I have Marissa Britton out of Nashville, out of Tennessee, who worked on these two covers. She's actually done all three of these covers, this cover, and this cover. So she's worked on 4 covers for me, and Gregory Graphics has worked on this one, and he's going to work on a future cover for me. And so you see, I supply authors with the same thing I supply myself. But I had to let some previous graphic designers go. I enjoyed their work, but they just couldn't work at the level that I was working on. Excuse me. So it was time. So as you're sitting here today, and I'm not going to stay on too long, I just want to say this today. As you amass knowledge about whatever, understand that you cannot stay in the same place that you are in. Because as you grow as a person, as you grow as an individual, as you grow in whatever form or fashion that you're growing in, even spiritually, as your knowledge I'm a Christian, so I'll use me as an example. As I grew as a Christian, there was just things I couldn't be connected to. Now, when I first became a Christian, I kind of had one foot in the world, one foot in the faith, and I played that role for a while. But as the Bible says, when I was a child, I did childish things. But when I became a man, I put away my toys. So, and what that's really saying is, as I became more knowledgeable, that's really what that scripture means. When I was a child, I did childish things. When I did not have the knowledge, I did what children do. But once I became a man, once I matured, once I grew knowledge of, I had to put those things away. How goofy does it look when you see a grown man acting like a little boy? How sad is it when you see a grown woman acting like a little girl? What do we say? At your age. Well, at what age is maturity really supposed to kick in? So that's really a loaded statement. But at the same time, what you're saying is you should know better. So at some point, there has to be a disconnection of what you used to be to the who you are now, if you are going to become who you want to be. Has to be. So again, remember, as you acquire knowledge, there's going to be growth. And with that growth means that pain is going to come, because you cannot hold on to everything that was there before. Appreciate it. And thank you for the hearts, by the way. And anybody else that's on, appreciate it for the hearts. And you have to remember that. And you have to actually have a conversation with yourself, because it's not easy, because some of the things that are in place have brought you comfort. Maybe even at one time brought you joy. But if it's time to go, and if it's time to ascend to a higher level, then it's time to let things go. It's time to deal with that pain of letting it go. But understand that the pursuit of happiness and the actual acquiring of happiness is going to be so worth it. You really have to believe that. And that's where your knowledge of helps. That's where your learning helps. Because when you look at other people who have done it, then you know it's possible. So once you know it's possible, now you got to focus and go get it for yourself, because can't nobody do it for you. So understand, knowledge is growth, and with growth comes pain. But the pain is not forever. Happiness will override that. How old am I? 49. Happiness will override that. And you really have to focus in on that and deal with it. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. I have friends in Madonna. Is it Madonna or Madonna? I don't know how you say it. I think it's Madonna. One of the coaches that I work with. He's in Madonna, Italy. We talk once a month. Yeah, once every 4 or 5 weeks. Where? I guess it's where in Madonna? I couldn't tell you. I know it's Madonna. We talk. I didn't understand. I said one of my coaches is from Madonna, Italy. Hello. So anyway, guys, simply put, the idea is that as you amass the knowledge of whatever, understand that as you grow from that knowledge, you're going to have to separate yourself. And I realize with my business, it's time to just make some changes. There's some things, a different direction, not so much different directions. There's some things I want to add to what I'm doing. And there's some things I want to put in place business-wise. So things can't be status quo. So you have to take into account, like now, Periscope, live streaming. So I have to figure how that's going to play into the future of some of the things that I'm doing. How I'm going to rearrange the content. How do I change the customer service from what it's been? Because now that I have some new understandings of a better way to do customer service, I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. The website company that I'm using, I enjoy, but I'm learning that there might be potentially better websites companies, so I'm going to have to cut that relationship loose. And the same thing in my personal life. As I'm moving forward business-wise, if there's just certain people that can't assist me in what I'm doing, I can't spend that time with them. Because I can't continue to sit with you and try to help you, and then I'm not helping myself. I'm always here to help others when they need me, but at the same time, I have to make sure that my business and businesses are in place and growing the way they're supposed to. That's why I'm making this move from New York to Delaware. Just to basically hit the restart button on some things and then rearrange how I'm going to do some other things. I do a lot of business online, so I'm not worried so much about my business. But then I have to make sure that I'm getting comfortable with my new surroundings and do a lot of networking. I'm doing a lot of pre-networking. I'm doing a lot of pre-connections before I actually get to Delaware. And then once I can touch down and I'm there on a regular, go out and make new connections. So in making these new connections and gaining new knowledge, there's going to be some people that I'm just not going to be able to spend that much time with that I might have in the past or spent that much time talking to that I may not be able to. And that pain is going to have to just be acceptable for now. So guys, let me go. My name is KL Belvin. You can reach me on all social networks. Facebook, KL Belvin, Twitter, KL Belvin, Google+, KL Belvin. My website is www.bravinpublishing.com, BRAVIN publishing.com. And if you need to reach me, main office at bravinpublishing.com. That's definitely the way to reach me. I'm not going to run down my itinerary today. I'm going to put it up on my calendar, but I know coming up this Saturday is ball gowns and bowling shoes. It's a charity event to raise money. Bowling. I have pageant princesses there. We're going to be bowling. Also, May 14th, shout out to Keisha Green, who's out of the hospital. We're doing the chat and chew. So we're inviting 15 select folks to come and sit down, have lunch, have a conversation, get an autographed book, as well as the swag bags are going to be crazy. So Keisha Green is putting together bags for the folks, the paid folks that are coming. It is worth, I think, up to like $75 now. So for your $40, you're actually going to walk away with a plus. So as well as you get to hang out with me for a couple hours. June 4th, I am in Detroit, Michigan, speaking at the Building Better Men Conference. We're going to be there helping the brothers, having conversations with them, and hopefully finding ways to restore and build relationships with the brothers in Detroit. And then in July, I will be in Chicago. July 15th, 16th, and 17th. APS Books and More on the 15th and the 17th. And the Soulful Chicago Book Fair, July 16th. Oh, I forgot. Positively Dover. I'll be there in Dover. That's where I'll be living, in Dover, Delaware. I will be at the Positively Dover Festival, June 25th. I cannot wait because it's going to give me a great opportunity to network with a lot of what will be my neighbors, because within a week and a half from that time, I will have moved to Dover. So I am looking forward to meeting and speaking to everyone from Delaware and getting all the contacts and setting up as many opportunities to speak as possible. So that's a little bit of what I'm doing. And again, if you need to reach me, main office at Braven Publishing is my email, and bravenpublishing.com is my website. Have a wonderful day. Also, remember, don't get so caught up in technology that you forget to go and talk to people face to face. Sit down, have lunch, sit down and grab a little something to drink. Start getting in a habit of getting away from technology sometimes, and when possible, to have conversations with people. All right, take care. God bless.